I'm Jennifer. This is Unearthed Relics, and in today's video, we are going to take a historic and creative journey through the most wonderful board game to ever exist, and that, of course, is Clue. I have been a fan of the game Clue, the movie Clue, Clue memorabilia, all things Clue for a really, really long time, and I try to collect things when I find them, and it has been a goal of mine for a little while now to do a Clue themed junk journal, which I'm going to show off a little bit later. So earlier this year I was able to attend Clue the musical, and before that they held a fun lecture at the university here where I live, and it was a lecture by Marco Arnado, and I'm probably saying his name wrong and I apologize, but he's actually a professor who has studied Clue as well as other board games, and he did a really cool kind of introduction to the board game and how it came to be. He goes all the way back to a couple in the 1930s in Great Britain who were hosting murder mystery parties at hotels and other things, which sound totally fun and delightful. There was a lot of interest in that, and they got the idea that wouldn't it be kind of cool if you could turn that kind of experience into something that could be played as a board game as well. So they were able to establish a game called Murder, kind of aptly named for a game all about the idea of murder. And it had some of the original elements like a mansion and different murder weapons. And that game then morphed into what was called Cluedo when it was originally released in England back in 1947, and then it made its way across the pond, as they say, in 1949 and was published by Parker Brothers here in the States. So over time it kind of evolved a little bit, but the basic kind of elements from that initial version that was created by Anthony and Elva Pratt kind of carried forward in all of those iterations as well. So it's really cool to think that it's something that had its roots almost a century ago, and has been around and loved by many for so many years. I have a couple different things that I'm going to show off. So obviously the original version looked similar to this. So this was modeled after the 1949 version that was originally released here in the United States. This is obviously a reproduction, but this is a version that we play often because it's a good compact one. But I like that one, and I love the old style kind of look of it. I feel like it was similar to one that was at my granny's house when we were growing up and we could play. The oldest one that I actually have is from 1956, so not too terribly long, so less than a decade after it was released here in the US. And I like this version. It's kind of got a fun orange-red sort of look to it. It still has the original style board game, or sorry, game board rather. It's faded in some places. I think this one's got some water damage and it's a little bit musty. The other thing I love about this older style are the giant, and I guess I probably should have held the more modern ones for comparison's sake, but really big weapons, as well as just the really cool images on the cards themselves. So I love like the stylized images, especially of the characters in this set. I think they're just fabulous. So it is a really, really fun addition, and even though it smells a little musty, it's a fun one to kind of get out every now and then. I don't have a full set of the cards, but I do have the instructions, so I thought that was kind of cool that those kind of survived. And again, usually when I find these kinds of things in the bin, I've got to go digging for them, so to get to all the pieces and whatnot. So I was really excited to have found this a little while ago. I have another version of the game that's a little bit more vintage. This one is from 1963, and you can tell that it's got kind of a big update in terms of the characters. I think these characters are pretty delightful too. They're a lot of fun. They definitely have that 60s sort of vibe going. And the board got an update in this edition as well. I grew up playing this version of the game, and it has an updated look for the board and what the rooms look like, and then some updated cards that have these really cool like carpet type look. So they were things that were related to the different like items or spaces that would be in the rooms. The other thing that I have, and this is still playable, I have played it not too terribly long ago, was the Clue VCR game, which was a lot of fun too. So there were little clips that you could watch, and then you had cards and you could go back through and try to solve these kind of pre-made mysteries together with groups. There were kind of gameplay elements. So this was a ton of fun. There was of course the movie I should say around that time with the different endings, which was a ton of fun. And over the years they've come to release several different kinds of games as well. So kind of capitalizing on the brand popularity, but there was Clue Mysteries. Again, these were kind of preset mysteries that you could kind of play through mystery by mystery and solve that. Clue Suspects, or I'm sorry, Clue Discover the Secrets was another fun, kind of more modern adaptation. And then some of these fun, like little kind of travel grab and go games that are a lot of fun too. And actually one of the things I think that got me into kind of thrifting and collecting vintage things was a discovery of a game that was related to Clue called Mystery. So back when I was, gosh, I don't even think I was in high school yet, but in the church kind of thrift shop at my granny's, when I had gone to visit, I found this old copy of this game called Mystery, and it's I believe from the 30s also. It's got, again, kind of really fun looking characters, kind of a similar number. In this version of the game, one of the things I love most is that each of the characters has these little canisters, which is the marker that you move around. And then it has little, let me see if I can find yeah, there's one with the weapons in it. It has the little weapons that get hidden in there as you're playing and as the characters move around. So that was a really fun find. Let me hold up the board for that one. It's actually hanging on my wall, but it's just really, really fun. Similar kind of theme where you're kind of moving around the house and trying to figure out who done it. In that one, there's actually a character that plays Mystery, who is the detective, and he's trying to discover who's the murderer, along with, you know, who's getting killed along the way and everything. So it's a really super fun, delightful game that is sort of Clue-esque. So let's get to the crafting part of things today. All right, so here is my junk journal. I made this actually out of a chessboard or checkers board, and just cut off the end because I didn't need the whole thing. And then used a piece of just scrapbooking paper to make the binding there, and was able to carry that over inside as well. And the book is designed so that you can see each of the characters. And these were taken from a part of a box from the 1963 version of the game. And I kind of decided that I would make a page for each of the characters. So some of the elements of the junk journal kind of relate to the characters as well. So to figure this out, I made like a little flip book style cheat sheet that helped me to kind of get the idea of how I was going to layer the paper together and do that. And then the other thing I did was photocopy and color print some pieces from the different board games and other components from the different games that I was able to use. You also see that I did a little bit of stenciling here to kind of tie some of the things together. And then I used pieces of the detective note taking sheets and cards and other bits and pieces from the game as well. All right, so join me now to take a look at the finished product. So the first one here is Colonel Mustard, and I think I might go back and add things to the other side, but I haven't really decided exactly what to put on the other side. Maybe just other paper and things like that too, but I didn't want it to get too thick because I think it'll kind of bulge out a little bit then once it's closed. In any case, I had a lot of fun with that. So I've got Miss Peacock here. She's doing the ballroom thing, so I've got some things from a little dance competition note card there. We've got Mr. Green and some of the images cut from the box of that 1950s version of the game. Here's Mrs. White, and in this version, she was a cook. Sometimes she plays other things, but in this one, because she was a cook, I went ahead and got her here in the kitchen with a kitchen card and a little bit of a recipe card there, as well as a bit torn out of a cookbook. We've got Professor Plum here because he's all professory and whatnot. I've got a little bit from a mechanical engineering book here, and I've got another little Professor Plum card hiding away there as well. And then lastly, Miss Scarlet, and she's changed a lot over the years as well. I've got the version here from the 80s, as well as some bits and pieces of the study and kind of relate to that. And then again, that kind of stenciling pattern. So yeah, so I'm really excited. Not perfect, but I think it turned out pretty well. And because I am so nerdy and I love Clue so much, I have also done some Clue dress up. So this is a photo of me and some of my friends who participated in a Clue kind of like scavenger hunt sort of adventure. I think these were held in different cities all over the place, so might be something that you're familiar with as well, but we had a lot of fun dressing up as the characters from Clue. That's me as Miss Scarlet in this version, and also had some fun doing Clue-themed parties over the years, and I've got some pictures here of one of the kind of general parties I held, as well as a Clue-themed baby shower complete with babies representing each of the main characters from Clue. So if you can't tell, it is something that I totally geek out about. Thank you so much for joining me today and allowing me to geek out a little bit about my love for all things related to Clue. I hope that you had fun taking a look at the process of creating the junk journal, as well as learning a little bit more about the board game perhaps. Hope that you found some inspiration or ideas that maybe you can transfer to your own kind of geeky passion, but I definitely hope that you'll join me back here again in the future. I love to find thrifted things and then find fun and creative uses for them and have a lot of fun. So if you like what you saw today, be sure to like and subscribe. Feel free to comment. I always try to get back to any of the comments that are posted as well, and I really appreciate you joining me today. Thanks and have a great week.